see. I see it drop. All right, here we go. Good morning, and welcome. So I'm waiting to see for the notification to drop.
Yeah. It's funny how that takes a minute before that
You
even
know,
alerts people.
goes to the magic of.
And sometimes I don't get the alerts.
Well, it's very funny that I was missing Soul Sisters alert and a couple other ones, and so when I went back, the bell that I had rung, which was for the all, had gone back to personal. When you have that personal notification, like I never get anything. So
Oh,
you have to
okay.
be careful. Have to be careful.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. Hey, Gerald.
So I don't know if you know about Gerald,
Oh, do
but
tell.
Gerald and Jeffrey got married.
Congratulations. Oh,
So I
how
got a picture
wonderful.
of their wedding bands. He sent me a picture. Oh, me and Gerald, me and Jeffrey did a thing. Is how he said it. So I'm so excited because now I have a boyfriend and a husband in
Look at
Jeffrey.
that.
So I'm like
Mm, mm,
living it
mm.
up. A
God
wife,
is good.
and a husband. I'm just living it up. Living it up. I'm trying to meet Gerald and I already sent him a place for the halfway point for us to meet. But I'm just telling you, some of these places, not that they're like podunk, but like Gerald lives in a big city and I live near Memphis. But some of these places in between, it's like I'm not trying to eat at the IHOP, you know. So I don't know. We're gonna have to work it out. We're gonna have to work it out.
Yes,
So,
yes. Hey, Renee.
you know. Well, I see we're live here. I'm gonna see if I can see me on my thing. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Yes, congratulations to Gerald and Jeffrey. Many years of getting to know each other and growing and expanding and evolving your love and your relationship. I'm so happy. Now, it
Yeah.
means I don't have to kidnap them because I'm like, look, dude, I can do your wedding. Let's just knock this out, okay? So, no more having to kidnap and force them to get married. They did it on their own. So, very good, very good. All right.
Indeed.
So, welcome to what's the name of my show?
Can we talk?
What's the name of my show? Minnassa Wellness. Can we talk? I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for everyone that watches after the fact. I can be a nerd and watch the numbers. I'm like, why I only have this many? And then afterwards, like, okay, 150 people caught it later. So thank you to all you people that catch it later. I want to make sure that all you folks that catch it later join me Monday through Friday for Mindful Mornings with Minnassa. Oh, thanks. Gerald's let me know that the notice was posted.
Okay,
And so
good.
I appreciate that.
And you got to love your lurkers too, because you have people lurking.
Indeed. Yes, and the people who are lurking, indeed. And I just want to say, I don't know if you watch Jonathan, who's in Hawaii.
No.
Oh my God, he's got the sexiest voice. And the other day I was trying to catch him and Gerald for a quick minute. He was looking all rough and wild. Usually he's all put, I'm like, who? I thought, now Jonathan, he like boy and I like girl. But I'm like, we ever just wanna, you ever come over here, just come on over here. Sexy voice, just looking so sexy. What are you eating over there in Hawaii? Dag.
Oh, that's too
Indeed. All
funny.
right, let me start behaving myself. But I guess it's never too late to start
Oh,
something that you want to
behave.
do. So,
Hey,
yes,
Jane and
welcome.
Tracy.
Thank you, says Tracy, and of course, beautiful Jane, and all the lurkers, and all of those of you who watch later. So, I am so very excited. Today, we're continuing the amazing conversation that we had. We had Adrian last week. Or the last time I did the show, we talked about healing, and I had said at the show how funny when Spirit, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to have Adrian, and then I'm going to have Sonia, and then I'm going to have Tony, and I mean Adrian, just the way the whole show went, just really a deeper healing. Of course, with her
Mm.
being a shaman, it's not a surprise, and so to have you an energy healer, and I definitely want to talk about your uh, plant medicine magic. That's what I've been calling it, and how you use that in healing as well. So if you
Mhm.
don't know who my guest is, I feel like, what was that man? David Letterman. My guest needs no introduction, right? Hello, Janet P. My guest needs no introduction. If you don't
Hey,
know
Janet.
Sonia, what in the heck are you doing? Follow her page or her channel. And so, Sonia, I know you as a love-filled, powerful woman very gracious, a mama like me. You have a college starter. Mine is done with that, and I survived. So you too will survive. She lives in my
I hope so.
old home state. I know. She lives in my old home state of California. And so, Sonia, introduce yourself.
Why, hello, everyone. Thank you, Minnassa, for having me on here. I just love you to pieces and talk about powerful women. You are ranked right up there at the top. So it's such an honor to be here with you. Let's see. Gosh, I don't even know. I always get my spiritual journey when I started mixed up. Truly, I think when I really delved deep into it was 2016, but I've been on this path really looking at it about 2006. And it's always amazed me how it's brought me to this point here and how consistently changing and the experiences, there's always new experiences, new people. So grateful for this community and meeting different individuals. But my journey started out as a coach in being a coach, mindset coach, which I still do, where I just, I've always had this thing of wanting to help people and to be of
Mm-hmm,
service.
mm-hmm.
Back in even school. Well, first starting out, I wanted to be a psychologist, but then I realized I was too emotional. At that time, didn't know I was an empath, right?
Yes, yes.
But
I had a very similar thing. Always wanted to help people. I wanted to be like a
yes.
doctor or nurse, but I said, two things stop me from doing that. One is the mathematics involved, and the
Mhm.
most important thing, more important, is that as much as I love you, Sonia, I want your human body fluids to stay inside of you.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
they come out, now I'm not good for you. So yes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I want to
Okay. So
serve, but
you can relate to what I'm saying.
those medical
Um,
routes went away.
Yeah, so I worked in the hospitality industry for many
Mm,
years, and again, being of service in that manner. And really, every aspect of jobs that I've had was something of service. So when I decided to become a coach, I really enjoyed working with people, helping people. And I call it mindset coaching because of the fact that it's helping people to shift their perspective on things, providing different tools that they can use because we all have the ability to do these things on our own. Sometimes you just might need a little guidance and having the right tools that will help you to create that shift for you in your life and, live the life that you want to live.
mm,
But then after that, how I kind of got into healing from there, again, meeting new people, opening up, and then I got into the plant medicines. And that's about, I think, 2016 when my journey really started
mm.
with that. And it opened me up so much and so much that I learned. And one of the things that came about during that time was realizing that I was a healer. And it's I don't know. I'm not going to go into the story. It's a little long, but like the messages, the information that came through my hands and intuitively, all of a sudden knowing where things were going on with different people and all these different things. So I decided to explore that avenue, which led me to Reiki, and been on that Reiki journey for a little bit now, and finally became a master. But also doing other energy healing. Yes, I do crystal energy healing as well, working with the crystals. And what I like about energy healing, what's so beautiful about it is that there's just not one format of it. You don't have to do just Reiki. You can do, there's crystals, there's simple things that you can even do with your hands. That we all have that energy to can work with it. So learning all these different techniques and being able to work with others, and I think it's so satisfying to hear when someone comes back to you and say, you know what, that really helped me. And uh and and also hearing what experience they have. I have my own personal experiences, as I'm sure you've dealt with this as well. You have your own experiences, but to hear what experiences, what they saw, and sometimes it's similar with the different things that happen during a session. And it's very rewarding. So I love to be in that space and to help others. And I'm excited to see where this path takes me and what else comes down the road.
Well, very, very good. And so I think one of the things before I want to say hi to Lucky online and glad that they're here. But one of the things I think, Sonia, you and I also have in common is because you talked about one time you were at church with your mom, or your mom was telling you about a prophet who was coming, I think.
Yeah.
And you said, well, they're really a psychic. And having been in that Pentecostal world, that is very true. And also, like we taught, you can lay on hands. And so there are people who are using that healing power. They don't,
Mhm.
that it's in those places. It's just, I don't know when they say hidden, or
It's labeled different. It's just called something different. When people, especially in the Black churches, right? So when someone gets the Holy Ghost, that's their connection with spirit.
correct, correct,
Speaking in tongues, that's light language.
correct, correct.
So the prophets, they're psychics, and it's just all labeled different. And I think it's a way, and I could be overstepping a little bit here, but it maybe
Step
just
on, sister.
I think that's a way that it just makes people feel more comfortable with what they're dealing with, and it's all the same. And I wish that we can all find this understanding, more understanding, right? That's what the world needs anyhow, is more understanding. People don't understand, especially things that they fear, so they want to create things that make them feel better about it, regardless of what it does to that other individual or group of people.
And I do think that part of the traditional churches, it may not be the intention in people's hearts, but in the corporate overarching, it's to make sure that you keep, yes, Jane, we're all connected, true, but
Hmm.
that you keep that power outside of yourself. And if you knew that this was actual the divine in you working through you, you would be empowered in a different way. But no, the power's outside of you. So you need to come
Yeah.
and keep listening to this person who's telling you everything. So many of the African American churches, or even the Southern Baptists here in the South, women can't be ordained. And so it's like, it's all about disempowering. And yet, even Sweet KD talks about, I think it was her grandmother was a healer. But, Southern Baptists, there's no place for people like that. And so,
Yeah.
um, that, yeah, I think if you say that you're a psychic, that means the power is coming from within you, or a
Right.
healer. And talking about that fear, in my office, of course, where I at the hospital where I work, I have Reiki stuff all over the place.
Hmm.
So a woman came in one time in my office. She says, "Oh, are you learning to write Chinese?" So first I'm like, "Why is she saying that?" I said, "Oh," I said, "No, that's Japanese and it's Reiki." "I don't want to hear about no Reiki." Right there. So I said, "Well, don't you believe in laying on of hands and healing?" She says, "Well, yes." I said, "Okay, that's the same thing." But
Yep.
again, just that concept that because it was something foreign, and don't get me started, people
Yeah, I
so
know. It's just unfortunate that people don't take the time to educate themselves of what
correct,
it is,
correct.
If you want to have opinion about something, then get all the facts, get all the information. That's one of the things that I would, I love my mom, love her dearly, but she would jump on that bandwagon about stuff. Oh no, this is that, and different books. And I'm like, Mom, did you read the book? Well, no, but so and so said. I said, but did you read it?
Correct, correct,
See,
correct,
that's the thing. It's like form an opinion for yourself.
correct,
Check it
correct.
out.
But that's
And
not the
people are
American way.
exactly. Exactly.
Not the American way. All right, so we are here to talk about healing. So, what are the healing modalities that you work with?
Uh like I mentioned with Reiki, I like to use there's a lot of the Reiki symbols that I like to use. I think one of my I'm trying to figure out what's my favorite. There's a couple that I like to use. Something about the chokure. I love using the symbol chokure, and my teacher actually created a song. I'm not going to sing it because I don't have it down the way that she does it, but it's really beautiful. And she'll bring that song using all the different symbols when she does her healing work, which I find very fascinating. Um, but like I said, I like to bring in both Reiki and the crystals. And with the crystals, what's so interesting about it is each crystal has its own energy power of what it can provide for people. And there are sometimes I have crystals because I have like these trays of different things that I'll have, even when I'm doing the distance. And because of COVID and all that, that's where things shifted for me. It became more all doing distant healing now, which we'll talk about that in a second. But the thing that I love about the crystals is that they'll call to me, and certain ones will say, you know, this is what needs to be used. And um, I just, I don't know, I can't even describe the healing that comes from these beautiful little, you know, rocks or bigger rocks. And I always keep them around me, especially when I do my readings. I always keep my selenite right next to me. This is very healing, the selenite wands, and my amethyst, which I love, and my clear quartz. But they bring in these different frequencies, these different energies, and that's the other thing that I find so interesting about healing, and that's where I want to go next, is into the sound healing.
Now, let me
Because
interrupt you for just 1 minute. You're talking
yes,
about crystals. You know, Lily used to be called the Crystal Queen Lily, and she used to do teachings in LA in the San Fernando Valley about
oh
crystals.
wow,
So she knows all about them. So she, of course, has a ton of crystals. Most of them are here. But she took a set with her, and when she went through the airport, something in her carry-on bag was triggering the whatevers, so they had to open her bag up. And then the lady pulls them out. She's like, "Is this a bunch of stones?" Lily's like, "Yes, yes, they are."
that's hilarious. It's like, please don't touch my stones.
Exactly. Well, if you're not ready to be healed, do not touch these.
There it is, right there. Exactly.
Love
Uh,
to you, Jane.
but it's speaking of healing, I'm off to get a distant healing. Oh, good for you, Jane.
So love and
Blessings
light
to
to her.
you. Yes.
And Tracy says that she feels that the crystals can amplify the Reiki energy.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Tracy. And Tracy's really good with crystals as well. But
She's such a
yes,
sweetie.
she is. She is. We need to see more of you, Tracy.
Indeed, agreed.
But so yes, working with the crystals and then wanting to also get into sound healing, because what I love so much about frequencies is that it's about finding that frequency that's the right one for people. And I think too, I'm so fascinated. I am very sensitive to sound. Uh, People call my mother and I, like, we have like super hearing, and the sense, the scent of smell. I can smell things like far, far away, but it's that frequency and finding that right tune to help come in to help other people, I think is really, really fascinating. Um, I've done or have Reiki done on me, where sound bowls were used as well, and it just brings in this different level to the healing. And that's there's so many different levels of energy healing, and that's why I love it so much. And there's a lot of great ways to help individuals on their healing journey.
So now let's talk about that for a minute, because I think one of the things, part of where the world is tipping, is that obviously part of where the world is tipping is that we were one believing that this was it, this is it. But now even science is saying that what appears to be solid is really a conglomeration of energetic molecules. But if you did something to disperse them, like even with the human body, the molecules would separate. And so the fact that we are energetic beings, like I say, housed in a beautiful earth creature, so it's a meat suit. It's more than that. To me, it's an earth entity that made an agreement with my energetic self that this is how we're going to walk this path.
That sounds a lot more attractive than a meat suit.
Yes. You remember that time Lady Gaga wore a meat dress?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about, well, no, I want to also have you talk about your plant medicine magic.
Okay. So, yes, a lot of people already know that I do a lot of plant medicine. I been doing ayahuasca probably for over 5 years now. Not sure how many ceremonies at this point. I think I'm close to 30 ceremonies, which actually for over that time period is not a lot compared to some of my other colleagues that have done ceremonies as well. I've done.
Not everyone knows what ayahuasca is. I always get.
Oh, I'm so sorry. This is so true. So ayahuasca is a plant from the Amazon, which now it's growing in other places. It's really big in Hawaii now. It's growing. Someone brought an ayahuasca plant there, and the plant was like, "Ooh, I like it here." So now it's running rampant in Hawaii. But it is an intuitive plant, and what the tribesmen would do is they would take the plant, mix it with, I don't know all the ingredients, but there's other plants and things that they would mix it, and they would like boil it and stew it, and it becomes like this thick liquid type form. I got to tell you, it's not the most pleasant taste on the planet. But yes, there are hallucinogenic properties in it. But what it does, it helps you to connect to your, for some, to their higher selves or the spiritual world. For others, it helps to really tap into that subconscious mind. So essentially, it pushes ego aside so that you can make this connection. And it's so powerful, the information that comes up for you. Maybe there's things that you've tucked away that you haven't dealt with. Trauma, right? It's really good for those with trauma to get to the root of why possibly you might not be healing in that sense. It's done wonders for me in that department with my healing with the trauma. It's for me, it helped me to open up this third eye a lot more. I contribute that to why I all of a sudden one day was like, oh, I was talking to a friend. I was like, oh, her mom's here. what happened? Where did she come from? You know, so so all these different things started happening, and my life changed. I contribute a lot of my life changes to this plant. It's been a really integral part of my life. Psilocybin, very, very highly, mushrooms are very highly intellectual. And
But ayahuasca is not mushroom, right?
it is not mushroom. Ayahuasca is ayahuasca. That's what the plant is. That's the
plant,
name of the plant. Yeah. Psilocybin are mushrooms. Psilocybin, with those, again, everyone has their own experiences. Now, both of them, ayahuasca and psilocybin, people are now microdosing these. So instead of, so they don't want the hallucinogenic properties. If you just take a little bit, it helps to help keep people more grounded and centered.
I was wondering about that because I saw a thing on microdose. I'm like, what does that mean? You have a smaller trip or?
No, there's no trip. There's no trip. It's just a very small percentage that you take, and it will help, especially like psilocybin for people that deal with depression, people that anxieties and things of that nature. It's been known to help people with that. But I would never advise anybody to do any of it unless you're talking to someone that is really educated in this. And I always say too, with these medicines, these plants, that people are called to. I would never say, Minnassa, you need to do this, because I think you need this in your life. That goes for anything, right? You don't want someone telling you what you need and what you don't need. So this is something that you're called to. So if you have that calling, then you want to make sure that you seek out someone that is experienced. I wouldn't just go to any person, right? I would go through a trusted source, someone that has said to me, you need to go check this out with this individual. But yeah, so there's psilocybin. I've worked with bufo, which is they call it the molecule of God. 5-MeO-DT. I'm probably getting it all messed up, but there's that. And then I'm going to do combo next weekend for the first time. And combo is combo is the secretion from a frog.
Okay.
It's very sacred medicine. It's kind of like burned in, I have to figure out where I'm going to have it placed, but it's like detoxifies things in the body, especially good for like liver detoxing and all different types of detox for the body. So yeah, there's a lot of different aspects of the plants. It's one of the things on my list that I really want to go in, stepping into that space of becoming a healer. I really want to learn about more about plants and how they can utilize. I did hear once in a previous life that I was a few times a medicine woman, and that just resonates with
Of
me.
course
It
you were.
resonates with her.
I
Yeah.
mean, of course you were. That's why I also do medicine. My mom's a healer. My grandmother's a healer.
Mhm.
My great grandmother's a healer. It's stuff I did in other lives, and it comes with us. And we came to this realm. Sorry for barging in. We came
No,
to
not
this
at all.
realm to bring the healing at this time.
Yes. Yes.
Wait,
And
I forgot to mention we're wearing our festive headgear. Cynthia Pierce. So yes, we're wearing our festive headgear for
getting in the Halloweeny spirit, of course.
indeed, indeed, indeed. So now tell me a little bit more, because of course it's funny that you would say like, Manas, I would never say you need to do this. There's always there's a part of me. I didn't even know there was such a thing till you had an amazing show on your Wellness Wednesday show where you talked about it. Actually, I think you had a woman from a
From Portland. Yeah, she
I
did
want to
the
they
she's
have like a church, right?
yes, Sacred Heart. But I think she kind of put things on hold right now. There was some stuff that was going on. But it was the first above ground
Maybe, maybe.
church for oh Viviani. Yeah, it was the first above ground psilocybin church. And what's so amazing is that we're moving into that direction. Before, and it's still kind of hush hush to a certain extent. Ayahuasca was a little bit more like, we don't talk about ayahuasca, right?
Mm,
But it's
mm.
becoming so mainstream now. And my brother, he's a psilocybin facilitator. He just went to a workshop that was filled with doctors and lawyers. And the purpose of this workshop was, how do we bring psilocybin into the medical field? So we're now becoming to it's like um, our medical field is starting to match, like come to look at this like, okay, what are these medicines? What are these medicines
In
people
a
are
way, it's
using?
actually going backwards because that's how medicine was. Like even cocaine,
Right.
the people used to chew on the plant when they would chew on the leaves and it would give them a little pep, right? And then
Hmm.
some scientists decided, here, let me take out this part, and now you see what happened. But
Right.
the indigenous people knew this plant helps you with this, and so all medicines are based on a plant.
On a
So
plant. Yeah. It's those
we're really
awful
going
people that
back,
came in and put all the chemicals into it, right? All that stuff that's harmful to the body. Whereas when you're
correct.
just taking that essence of the plant, then, that's in its purest form, and that provides benefits for the body. But not all plants are edible either. So don't go out and
Right,
just start saying, ooh,
right,
especially with the mushrooms, especially with the mushrooms. You got to know
correct.
what you know.
I think that Tracy's just reiterating what you said. It's so important that there are many good and
Yeah.
helpful plant medicines, but you need to go with someone who's responsible and do your homework. And
Yeah.
then, even if you have to say it in some kind of side way to your physician, if you're taking other types of medicines, you need to make sure that you're not doing something that's going to be contraindicated.
That's it.
That's
And
a
if
medical
if
word I learned from Gail, contraindicated.
ooh, that's a fancy word.
Correct.
Well, here's the thing too, like, this is what a good facilitator would do. So let's say you're interested in doing one of the medicines and then you go, you want to make sure that they ask you, are you taking any medications? If not, then you want to say to them, hey, I'm taking such and such, because there can be something that impacts, whatever it is that you're on. So it's really important that I can't reiterate that enough, that you find a safe place that has a great facilitator that is providing, these medicines for you. Yes. Very important.
Very
But
good.
yeah.
So you talked about energy medicine, you talked about your plant medicine. What other type of healing modality would you like to share about?
Well, let's quickly just talk about the distant healing, because I
Okay.
think a lot of people think, well, how can that work? Generally, like, I didn't even know distant healing was a thing. When I first started out Reiki, I thought it was, when I first learned about Reiki or knew of Reiki, I thought you go see a person, you laid on their table, and they wiggle your fingers over you. But yeah, exactly. Woo. But distant healing is just as powerful because energy travels, right? There's no you don't have to be right there in that room with that individual. You get the same benefits as you would if you were in the room.
And what I say is that when you go into that energetic space and you make this agreement that you have actually stepped into the same space.
Yes.
That you're in the same space energetically, to where when you go, not that it's different when you go physically, you could be bringing all your issues and blocks. But when you say, like, I had a beautiful lady that used to do my Reiki when we first moved here. When I say, okay, you're going to do my healing, and she says, are you going to receive the healing? I think we step into a same energetic space where it's, in my opinion, okay, it's more clear oftentimes than when you're right there with the person.
Yes.
Now, of course, they create the space and that they do the work. But I'm just saying, energy is energy. How do you know? Just you say like, oh, I better call my mom, and then boom, your mom calls you. That's energy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Yes. Go ahead, ma'am.
Oh no, you're good, girl. Just interject when you feel like it. So yes, with Reiki, it's just a matter of using symbols to bring that energy together, to contain that container, that space. The Honshaze Shonin symbol, and bringing that in for that connection. I love it. I know a lot of people, and what do you work with, Minnassa? Do you use a doll, or do you just do the energy with person? Do you use anything at all?
No,
It's like
I just
your
do
map?
the energy of the person, because I feel like when we make that agreement that this is what we're doing, we step into that energy.
Yeah. I have it's like a body map almost of
Okay.
a person, because with my crystals, that's what I use to place the crystals on certain points to connect with that person. So for me, it provides that body space, and I utilize, when I set it up, working with that individual, that is their body, that they're allowing me to place the crystals onto their body for that healing that needs to take place. So yes, distant healing, it's a beautiful thing. I'm actually, if anyone is interested, since I became a Reiki master, I wanted to celebrate. This is the last week of it. I'm offering $30 for 30 minutes. And that's a great deal. Gives you an idea of what Reiki is, what it feels like, or if you've had Reiki, to see what Reiki feels like from having it done by me. But I learned something every time. And I think that's the beautiful thing. The beautiful thing about being a vessel is that I'm amazed the messages that come through, the healing light that comes through. I like to work with Archangel Raphael.
Oh, yes. A long time friend of mine.
Oh my goodness. Did I ever tell you about my experience with Raphael?
Oh, no.
It's very interesting. So I'm not a person that really works with angels or had angel experiences. I grew up Baptist. So to me, I don't know, we would talk about angels and stuff in church, but we didn't talk about working with angels, not like in the Catholic Church, right? So I'd never had this strong connection. I thought they were fascinating, but just not the strong connection. So one day I was taking a nap and I was lying down here, and all of a sudden I heard someone just so faintly, Raphael. And I'm like, Raphael, who the heck is Raphael? What is Raphael doing here? And like intuitively, I kind of went like, is that an angel? Like I've never heard of Archangel Raphael. And so I went to go look up, and I saw that Archangel Raphael is the angel of healing. And I went, oh, wow, interesting. So since then, I've been building up this relationship with Archangel Raphael. So always comes in for every session to assist the sessions. And sometimes I'll have people's loved ones that will come in. So that's the aspect of the mediumship that I like to use. Because when I kind of stepped into, or this gift came upon me, I don't know what the best way to say that. I was trying to figure out, how do I want to utilize that? And for me, yes, it's nice to help people connect them to their loved ones and to provide messages, but that wasn't on the forefront of what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like there's plenty of mediums out there that people can pay, and I don't even offer a service of mediumship. I
Mm-hmm.
just allow that to come forward if I'm doing a tarot reading or, a private reading for someone. If someone's loved one comes through, then I just provide that information, but I don't
Correct.
offer
I'm the same
mediumship.
way. I'm the
Yeah,
same way. Like someone said, I want a mediumship reading. I said, well, I don't see dead people. So I don't do that, meaning that that's not my gift. But I can tell you in many readings when they end, plus that their energy comes through in a purer way. It's not the person that you knew, it's them in their ecstatic state. And it's,
right.
it is a good feeling.
Yes. So, but yeah, I utilize that for the healing as well. I
Mm-hmm.
work with people's loved ones that want to come through, that can share information that they may know, that their loved one that does not know, that hasn't shared with me. So information like that will come through as well. There's, I think that's the beauty of all the different things that we learn and that we experience, of how we can take them and work them together, to help serve and to help others through whatever it is that they're going through. So I love this little mosh posh of different things, even with the coaching that will come through sometimes when I'm doing readings or the Reiki, I'll bring a little bit of the coaching in. I try to be mindful not to get too coachy. I'm like,
Right,
they didn't
right.
pay for a coaching session here.
Correct.
So, but yeah, there's different ways of, so I like to look at it like it's like a fuller package of
Okay.
providing
I
for.
agree. I agree that most, yes, if you have a psychic gift, it's not going to, in my opinion, it's not going to stop at one thing. And so
Right.
it's how do you bring that in? When you're talking about energetically, I see Herc 213 is here. Jay, I always think
Yay.
about him with Dragon Ball Z. That Kamehameha, and you see all that energy flowing, and that that there is even though that of course it's very Asian, and so that concept of chi, that we are
Mhm.
energy, and so that's sometimes where the healing really needs to be. That I might be having some kind of physical manifestation of it, but if you could get to the root of it, it's something energetically, it's something in that aspect that needs that healing, and so to be able to touch in that area.
Yeah. And that's the other beautiful thing about the plant medicine for me, is that it allows me, because there's a dieta for ayahuasca, not so much for the other plants, but for ayahuasca, there's a special dieta, it's called, that you are on a week or two before ceremony. And you also, it's about preserving the body to get ready to step into this sacred space. And one of the things too is reserving your chi so that you can experience that during the ceremony. And the energy that flows, it's so beautiful. It was the first place that I had a Kundalini awakening.
Oh,
And so now it's pretty regular when I go, and it's so amazing and so beautiful. Like, I can't even stop my body. It's just like, phew. I also had one during a psilocybin ceremony as
yes,
well.
isn't it very interesting that a snake is the entity that is
For
doing the
ayahuasca.
talking in the
Yeah.
beginning of the Bible? And it's like,
Right.
because they knew about snakes,
Yeah.
they understood them. But
The
yeah,
first time I had the awakening, I became an actual snake. So I was hissing like a snake. I couldn't stop moving like a snake. And it was so powerful and so intense. Um, at that time, I didn't even know it was Kundalini. I was just like, I'm a snake. Oh my God, I turned into a snake. And then after a while, when it happened a few times, I shared it with someone and they were like, oh, that's the Kundalini. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. So I welcome
amazing.
it every time. It's so beautiful. It's
It is
really
awesome.
beautiful.
I mean, even
Yeah.
think about the snakes are on the medical, the
Yep.
caddis, that there is that whole healing aspect. And welcome to Dolly. And yes, I've been throwing wrenches. So I threw one to Tracy and now Jay. And so JC's going to go Super Saiyan. That's right. Bring that energy up. So one of the things is that Sonia and I have some cards. I thought we pulled maybe 2 or 3 cards to look at the healing energy for the collective. In these last 3 months, heading into the new year, I'm really like on a mission to get people to start working on what you want to bring into 2023 right now. You don't have to do it on January 1st. I mean, technically January 1st isn't even the new year. I mean, but it's a way to begin. And so to not let any time slip away, the power is all here. And to be healing is a process.
It is a process.
I told Gail, I'm like, I've been adulting, because I had a lot of fears and I was wanting to leave my job so I could do Minnassa Wellness full time or find a way to do that. But it involved conversations that usually what I did, leave someplace on a bad terms with everybody. And Spirit's like, you can't move forward with that energy. So again, having that whole thing of healing and growing, I'm like, I'm getting better at this adulting. But again, it's a process of healing. And I wouldn't have been at this place if I hadn't done the healing before, if I hadn't stepped into my gifts. And so healing is really a journey and something that I encourage people to do. Oh, we're getting some rain here in Atoka. To really allow healing. It's not because you need to get better because you messed up or you jacked up. It's to allow the divine in you to shine more and more, to come out more. And so it's not an admission of I'm messed up. It's an admission of I'm wanting to grow and evolve. And so
absolutely.
I need to release these things. That one of my favorite verses from the Bible says, we move from glory to glory. That's the concept. We're already glorious and awesome as it is. Let's hit another level of glory and then hit another level of glory. Let's level up,
I love that. I think it's important for everyone, especially healers. It's important that you got to do the work yourself. Just to go out and say, okay, see, and I think that's where I struggle a little bit with the word healer. I'm becoming more comfortable with it because for that time, I mean, that's such a powerful thing to say. And I think because that it comes responsibility.
Oh, yes.
And so with that, sometimes people get tied into the ego of that. And I'm not saying, there's some people this is with everyone, right? Preachers, right? Even when they become preachers, sometimes they let that go to their head. And so it's stepping into that space of I'm this, I'm that. But it's not about you. It's about you becoming that conduit, that channel, that clear channel for spirit, the divine, to work through you. And I remind myself of that every time I step into that sacred space of providing healing for someone, that, I always have my special prayer that I say, and part of it is to reset the ego aside so that I can step into this space to be that channel. And I think that's really important. So that's why I struggle with the word a little bit, healer, but I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with it because I know what it means for me.
That's true. And it's your gifting. It's your gifting. And again, like you said, like I was thinking about Benny Hinn. I don't know how many of you know him. He's this Pentecostal evangelical who's a healer, right? And then I remember seeing this on Instagram during COVID. He's like, where are these people at? And all these healers, right? Because of course I want you to come to my big campaign and throw all this money at me. Doesn't mean they don't have the healing gift, but they've stepped outside of it. That healing, as a healer, I am facilitating the healing within you. One of the things, if you remember the story, or if you know the story, which is one of my favorite Bible lessons of Master Teacher Jesus and the healing of the woman who had the issue of blood, she went to touch him because that was where her consciousness was, that by touching his garment, she would be healed. But people were touching him the whole time, because even when he said, hey, somebody touched me and got healed, the disciples are like, dude, everybody's touching you. But someone touched with a consciousness of healing. So the healing was in her. And it was facilitated through the gifts that Master Teacher Jesus had. And so, yeah, even myself as a preacher, you got to remember that, yes, the gifts make room for you, but I've got to remember that, yeah, there's like a higher calling. That's why, as much as I would love to be drinking it up and having wine, if I'm doing a tarot reading that day, I don't drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
or I don't, because
Yeah, or you want to be able to step into that sacred space. That's one of the reasons with ayahuasca, right? It's like that whole week of dieta to mentally and physically prepare you to step into this sacred space.
correct,
So that's
correct.
really important. I was just looking at the Wolf Girl. She posted one of my favorite songs, "This Little Light of Mine." That is my song. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Love
Amen.
that song. That
Amen.
is
And
my
then
song.
there's Tracy. I saw Jane that said she felt like some knowledge was really going to be dropped, which we are doing. But Tony Tracy just dropping nugget after nugget. Saying she's such a sweet lady. Did I say
She
that
really
already?
is.
She's so
Yeah.
sweet.
Oh, and before we pull, I wanted to also
Yes.
share, like, I'm getting ready to embark on a new ceremony, which is happening today. I'm super excited about it this afternoon. A friend of mine, she is also a amazing healer, and she's from Guatemala, and she's doing a cacao ceremony today to honor. We're doing it for Dias de los Muertos, and we're honoring the ancestors. So we within we put it out there. We have like 15 people that will be with us in ceremony today. And I'm really, really excited with that because I've never done cacao.
So cacao is chocolate?
It's chocolate in its purest form.
It tastes
So
horrible.
look, I'm like, I don't think it could be as bad as the Aya, so I think I'll be okay. But it's also very grounding. And we're doing sound baths and we're doing meditations and and I'll be doing some Reiki as well today. So we're really excited about doing this, and might be something that we do on a regular basis.
Look, my angel is here.
Ah, Katie. Hugs.
All right, so I want to pull some cards, and then I want to give the show over to Sonja to send us out with the healing. So it's funny, I said to Sonja, "Oh, make sure you wear something festive, right?" Last minute, and then I said, "Oh, by the way, do you have any healing cards with you?" And I'm like, "Because I have this one, which is my native healing oracle, a gift to me from my daughter Lily." And then Sonja's like, "I got this, girl," and I told her I almost wouldn't pull those cards. And
That's funny.
so let's pull two cards. Looking at the collective, what are areas that we can do healing? Healing begins within. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be love on earth and let it begin with me. And let there be healing on earth and let it begin with me. So we'll pull two cards. And I can't, first I'm like, oh my God, is this show going to be boring? Is anyone going to like it? And I'm like, oh my Lord, we're already 10 minutes away. We haven't even.
It goes by fast, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does.
Especially when you're having a good time with Minnassa.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I got to get, I got there's two people I want to have on the show that I have not. One is EQ. And partially, so I don't know how to get in contact with her.
Oh, I'll give you her email.
Okay. And then Lisa from Spirit Intuitive, but I think she told me that sometimes Saturday is not a good day for her because I've tried to have her before. So I might have to pick another day. Like
just check in with her. She's still running, trying to get stuff together in order with the house. But just check in with her.
Yes, fine.
Oh, aren't they great? Wolf Girl, I love the shamanic. I was telling Minnassa, this was one of my first decks when I first started with Oracle years ago. So I just love these cards.
All right, man. When you're ready, go.
Okay. So the first card I pulled is New Day. This glare from my light.
That's perfect.
Okay. So there we go. New Day. And what I love about the new day is that each day is always a new day, right? So when you're experiencing something, let's just say it's a really horrible day or you had a challenge that you had to deal with. And then I always say, tomorrow's a new day. And because you don't want to bring that same energy into that new day. And that's part of our healing journey as well, because we have to learn how to move and deal with situations that come into our life. Sometimes they may not be good. Sometimes they may be difficult. or sometimes they're just wonderful. But every day is a new day, and looking at it from that perspective and not carrying on those heavier energies and bringing those into the new day with you. And I also got divine timing.
Mm.
And everything is done in divine timing. We may not understand in that moment, like, why is this happening to me? Or why am I going through this? But I love that saying, this too shall pass.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
things will be taken care of in divine timing. It's not always up to our time. We wish it was, I mean, heck, there's a lot of things I'm like, okay, this is done now. We're done. We're not dealing with this anymore. Mentally, you can say that, but sometimes it's just about the timing, and we may not understand. Spirit has a plan for us. And when we allow ourselves to just allow to let go and release the tensions and everything else around whatever that situation is, that next new day, each day we're moving to a resolution. Okay. There's always going to be some type of resolution, but it will be in divine timing. So just trusting and believing in that journey for yourself.
And my cards are right in attunement with yours. So the card I got was, here we go, stillness. And that part of that allowing the divine timing is to really get still. That
Mhm.
again, just like you can't see your reflection in boiling water, but if you want to see where the divine is working in, as and through you, it's in that stillness. So this real invitation to be still, especially we're getting ready to come up, so many people that I've talked with, like, okay, Minnassa, good, we're going to do this, but we're going to start in January. That everyone's already got that holiday mindset, and all of a sudden we're going to be in the store, or we're going to be doing this. But for that healing, for that moving forward, for coming into your greater yet to be in November, December, and then starting in January, it's that place of stillness. And I know that sometimes I'm trying to do my mindful mornings with Minnassa and cook. We got HelloFresh. I'm trying to cook that and take a shower and not go to work in my underwear. So, I got to get dressed so I can get out of here. And 1 or 2 days without my meditation time, it's like, why is everything so hectic? Because you didn't sit down, you didn't get still. That is where the divine is. Yes, the divine is in everything, but it's in that still place.
Mm.
And then the card where I the sacral chakra,
Mhm.
That where the divine feminine, the divine masculine meet, where creativity is, that a real healing on that aspect. I see that Katie is drawing, that many of us need to go back to our coloring books, or to that way of allowing the creativity to flow through us, not the way someone said it's supposed to look, and not how you did it before, but really the healing of that sacral chakra, to allow that flow of divine feminine, divine masculine lays that foundation, and then the divine feminine builds on top of it, to really make space for that and to be cognizant of that this year,
Yeah.
or the remainder of this year.
I
All right,
love it.
ma'am. I'm throwing the show over to you
All
for
right.
your. I tried to do this the last time. I can't figure it out. No, no. Hang on.
Oh gosh, we don't need to blow me up.
Yes, okay.
Okay. So what I'd like to do with you all, it's a
And I'm going to mute myself.
okay. This is a heart chakra meditation. But, with Minnassa pulling that card with the sacral chakra too, I kind of want to include that into this because I feel like that's some areas the card was pulled for a reason. So I think that's where we could possibly do some healing as well. And this beautiful meditation is helping you to just to open up and to receive the healing light that's going to come in. So just find a spot, get yourself nice and comfortable, preferably feet on the ground, just for grounding, allowing things to flow through as this healing light comes through, releasing anything that needs to be released to Mother Earth. We're also going to release and send a lot of things into the light. So as we center, ground ourselves, let's just take a couple of deep breaths here. So I just want you to breathe in and hold it at the top. And breathe out. Another deep breath in and hold it at the top. And breathe out. So right now, tuning into the heart chakra. Just want you to feel into that space. Feel into allowing it to open up. And then imagine a stream of beautiful healing light coming down through the top of your head, coming down through the crown chakra, third eye, and throat chakra, down into the heart. And then we're going to go ahead and even extend that light all the way down into the sacral chakra. Ooh, and while we're at it, we might as well move on down. Let's keep going. Let's go down into the other chakras, our two lower chakras. Feeling everything move and open up. Our front part of our body is the part that receives everything from the world, all the information that we take in on a regular basis. So it's important for us to bring in this healing, to heal the wounds, to heal all the excess energy that we take on. Focusing now again back on that sacral chakra and the heart chakra, feeling that light just stir in those areas, opening yourself up and releasing whatever needs to be released into this light. And as the light streams through, going down into the ground, you can release also through that way down, giving all your troubles, your worries, the pain, any suffering to Mother Earth. And extending this light out through other parts of your body as it moves through, healing each cell, each part of your body. And as we extend back up through this light, going up through the throat chakra, third eye, and the crown, above this light, you can see a waterfall. This beautiful, beautiful waterfall. This is the waterfall of grace. And imagine this waterfall just flowing down, and it's flowing down the backside of your body. The backside of our body, this is the side that the divine comes through us. So feeling that beautiful grace from the divine just coming through the backside of your body as the water falls down, taking away, cleansing everything that needs to be cleansed. And within your heart chakra, or maybe you want to use your sacral chakra or something in between, imagine a flower. And this flower is receiving this beautiful water from the waterfall of grace. And imagine this flower opening up to receive all this beautiful grace that's coming to you. And if your flower is not opening up, that's okay. It may not be ready. And you can always return back to this recording to do this meditation again. Just allow yourself to receive the grace that's being given upon you. Releasing what's not serving you. Also allow this to flow down through the waterfall as it cleanses you. Or continue releasing through the light. Allowing the healing to take place. Allowing yourself to receive the healing and the grace. And just take a moment and be in that place of receiving. And as we thank the divine and this beautiful water from the waterfall of grace for this beautiful healing blessing, we slowly come back to our bodies. Begin to wiggle your toes, your fingers. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
I know how to pick the best guest. Indeed. Sonja, that was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I do want to tell everyone that Sonja's link is in the show notes below. If you don't already, I don't know what's going on with you. Please subscribe to her channel. She has the Soul Sisters is on Mondays. That's a different channel, which I didn't think to put in there. You have Wellness Wednesday, which is on Sonja's channel. And then on Friday, see, Sonja, I know about you.
You sure do. Love you.
Coffee chat.
Yes. And Wellness Wednesday is only twice a month. So I will not be on this Wednesday. It's the following Wednesday. We'll be on.
All right. Yes, Tracy says that was refreshing and beautiful. Thank you. And thank you for joining us, J-Rock. Thank you, everyone who was here today. All of you who let me know you're going to catch it on the replay. Again, please support Sonja's channel. Please join me Monday through Fridays. Now, it's not live, 6:30 a.m. Central, so you can catch it whenever during the day, but 6:30 a.m. is when it comes onto my channel. Again, I invite you to step into your healing, to know that wholeness is yours. And it's the invitation to shine your light and to step into the light so that that can continue. As Sonja Wolf Dowley says, Sonja, thank you so much for a beautiful meditation. I wish you all a beautiful Saturday. Thank you for joining me and my wonderful guest, Sonja, here. Have a blessed day and see you next time.
Bye, everyone.